I'm Augustus. I'm traveling the United States to raise awareness about my candidacy for president in 2028. This is the gathering place of the Pacific, where the lush peaks of the Ka'alau Range meet the deep blue of the sea. The real future of Hawaii is being forged in the communities of Kalihi and the shores of the North Shore and the neighborhoods of Kapolei. People who live the aloha spirit every day instead of just printing it on a souvenir postcard. I'm standing at the Hawaii State Capitol. There is no traditional dome here. Instead, the pillars rise like royal palm trees and the central court is open to the sky, a dome that belongs to everyone. This building was designed to represent transparency with a reflecting pool that symbolizes the Pacific, and legislative chambers shaped like the volcanoes that birthed these islands. It's a tribute to a state that bridges the East and the West. But for far too many in Hawaii, that open spirit feels like a closed door. The Capitol stands on the site of the former Iolani Palace, a reminder of a complex history of Hawaii. We are witnessing a slow erosion of Hawaii's heritage. The people who built these neighborhoods and the families who have long anchored the communities here are being displaced by a tide of indifference. When the voices of the people who actually live and work here are sidelined, we lose the very heart of our society to the interests of an uncaring few. This is the 17th capital of my 15+1 Capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but behind me in these walls and for other presidential candidates, it could be considered off the wall. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days. Not to give motivational speeches, but to listen. I'm here to hear about the Red Hill water crisis, the skyrocketing cost of shipping through Matson, and the housing crisis that is turning Hawaiian children into a generation of expats on the mainland. Hawaii is a land of breathtaking beauty, but it's also a land of hard realities. From the tech innovators in the Kaka'ako district to the farmers preserving the Aina, this state is built on a tapestry of people who have survived by being more resilient than the tide. To lead in Hawaii, one must respect the diverse voices of the Pacific Rim, the deep roots of the ILWU workers, and the modern brilliance of the people working to protect our coral reefs. To be the leader of the whole country, you have to actually know the whole country. You have to breathe in the salt air of Hanauma Bay, admire the views along the Pacific coast, and cross the mighty Mississippi, and see the enchanting Smoky Mountains. You cannot lead a people you do not know, and you cannot know the people from inside a speeding motorcade or a gilded office in D.C. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 states at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you never stop learning. That's why I'm visiting each state again and why I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my time in office. Now you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 64 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents come and go and industries rise and fall. I've watched as the people who keep this nation functioning, the nurses at the Queens Medical Center, the construction crews working on the Skyline Rail, and the staff at your local Foodland, are treated like line items, not human beings. You may be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. To me, being qualified means working as hard as you can to help the most people possible. Look at the people who meet in the Capitol or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are working to make your HOA fees manageable or your food prices reflect reality instead of a luxury markup? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of the job, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists. They shouldn't represent their party. And they definitely should not represent the ultra-rich. Your representatives, and especially the President of the United States, should represent you, period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich and ultra-rich who treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land of for lease signs and skyrocketing rents that push families out of the valleys they've called home for generations. Why consider an unconventional and unaffiliated candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of choosing between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a grocery bill and a utility payment. The motto of Hawaii is Ua ke, ea oka, aina ika pono. The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. Sadly, it feels like that life is only being preserved for the offshore investors. It's time to ensure that the prosperity of these islands reaches the people working 2 jobs just to put food on the table and a roof over their heads. I'm headed to Salem, Oregon next. I have many capitals and many miles ahead of me. If you see me in your state, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you on the steps where you live. I don't have the holder for the iPad, so I'm going to be using the iPad directly. Anyway. Okay, where are we?